Welcome, everyone. This is Tiny Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin.
Hi.
Ariandis.
Hey, everybody.
Maven.
Hey, y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
And we've got the full team on this week. Yay!
Woohoo!
So let's head into our game news, and that is update 21.0.2. And that's essentially a few quick fixes.
I'm interested in which classes have their skills lowered to be available at level 1.
Well, I guess the way to find that out is to create a new character of each class.
Yeah, well...
We should have made Crick Hollow.
Yeah. Now, I suspect that the reason for this was to allow the High Elves to have a few more skills when they go through their intro.
That would make good sense.
Because that's when they get a lot of
just
complaints.
being whiny babies.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any trouble going through the intro with only the one skill on my champion. Come on!
Right.
Okay,
so first they brought them up to level 4 before they had their first combat, so they could have a couple extra. It looks like they might have added 1 or 2 then also. But what those skills are, I don't know. I guess you could talk to Actually, no, the class trainers won't be able, because if you're past level 1, the class trainer won't have it in their queue, so you can't see which one is there. So, unless you create a lot of characters, you're not going to find out easily. If you did create a character of each class and have found out, you could list it in a comment to this episode. And anything else that anyone saw of note?
I think it's funny. It says in the quests and adventure areas, it says Aster Haywood can now be spoken to. I don't know why, but for some reason that just makes it sound like, oh, I'm busy. Hold on. Everybody hold on just a second. Wait for it. Okay, now I'm ready to talk to everybody. Here we go. I wasn't ready before, but I am ready now. Here we go.
They do sometimes write the notes like that. They'll be like, and such is now not so rude as to kill people when you come in the door, or something like that. It's really funny.
A little further down, it says the lava heat has been pulled back. It's like lava heat over
That's
here.
right.
You got to tone it down. You just got to tone it down over here.
Uda now has more Uruk enforcers and surrenderers. Seeing that I don't think I've seen a single one of either of those since the update, I'll have to take them. Actually, no, I have seen a few Uruk enforcers.
They are now. They're more in order now.
We saw plenty of surrendering guys, and let me tell you that the animation for accepting the surrender makes it look like you're giving them a snack. So
it
we
is.
were counting, and I would say, okay, 3, 2, 1, have a snack. Have a snack. And then you've got like 4 people giving a guy a snack. It's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. But it's the same thing you do to the signal flags, too. You give the signal flags a snack.
Now, this thing about the deed quest for Talath Ubri, and now requiring 50 completed quests. What did it require before?
I think it was higher. I think it was a higher number.
Higher than 50? Oh, good.
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember. I was wondering that same thing when I looked at the notes. I'm like, well, did it used to be lower than that? I guess it was. But the thing is, you have
a number and it wasn't completing. I don't know.
You have the Fusham Ball thing, and there's a lot of quests in there, so they may have raised it because doing that particular thing, you end up doing a bunch of quests.
All right. Brood mothers in Lingris will no longer call upon other brood. I think that probably helped me today because I was going into Lingris, and with all those baby spiders she calls, I certainly don't think I would have survived too well if a lot of brood mothers also came in.
We had that happen in beta, didn't we? I'm thinking that was the week that we weren't able to stream girls and we were just running around. And we ended up with like 3 or 4 different brood mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they just kept coming at us.
And here you guys kept telling me I would love this.
It's a made for Sandswinda area.
Yep.
It is.
They designed it with you in mind.
Well, giving her nightmares?
I guess so.
I said to her on Thursday. I said to her on Thursday that Lingers. She's going to just become so like
Desensitized.
cool about desensitized to spiders once we go through.
The thing with that, we need to do it multiple days in a row, or else we're going to have to go through the whole desensitization each week.
That's true.
Oh.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. When Andang on his stream goes through Lingris, I could just imagine he says, all right, that finishes Enmity of the Spider 1, Enmity of the Spider 2.
Well, that is one way to get those deeds done.
That's one way to get those deeds done. So if you're a Hobbit or a Bjorning, you know where to go.
That's right.
All right, let's see. Many Doomfold crafting items have identical tools. Yeah, they still have a few things to fix concerning the crafting item. And I right now don't know concerning the cooking one whether the main cooked food recipe is that the item itself is not high enough, or is it that the tooltip is wrong?
You're talking about the crit. You're talking about the crit stuff,
no,
right?
I'm talking about the regular food. The regular food is exactly the same as the Daleman's crams at 105, and 106 is that a 106 Dalesman cram, which is of course.
Wait, does that mean that the Dalesman cram is going to be better at 115 than the crafted food?
If the tooltip is but the food from the previous tiers is already better. Is probably better than the Dalesman cram at 115 though. That's the problem. Is the fact that the previous tier's food is way better.
Yeah. Unless they nerfed it, which I hope they didn't.
What, the
food?
No, because I did check the old food and it's still way better, which is why I'm still using the old food.
Is it still way better if you craft new of it? Sorry, I heard a rumor on Twitter earlier today. I have not tested this.
Oh, that if you crafted new food from the old tier, that it would be nerfed? Is that the rumor you heard? I don't think they even have the tech to do that.
I don't know. I just saw a comparison picture. I haven't gotten my cooked logged in to check it.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to check that because that doesn't seem likely. I have a feeling that they were just comparing the old tier to the new tier.
I hope so.
Because the new tier is pathetically low. But I don't know whether it's the tooltip. I would have to sometime try some new food and see how well I'm regenerating, compare it to how well I'm regenerating with and see what it is. Because according to the tooltips, the new food is only level 105 instead of 300.
So it might just be a tooltip problem.
Because they do have other tooltip problems, so I'm not going to rule that out. So, how about we then head on to the beacon, which I should say before we go too far on this that there will not be a beacon next week because Cordovan will be on vacation.
Ah, okay. Well, top of the beacon in the community spotlights, it mentions that the Bearded Minstrel created a series of visual guides to Mordor, which, by the way, are extremely awesome. They're for like all the different towers and things. They tell you where to go to find stuff.
All right.
I was following that pretty closely on Twitter when it was happening this week.
And in our weekly comment, the question is, what is the equivalent of pizza in Middle Earth?
I guess it kind of depends on how you feel about pizza, because if people don't like pizza, then I guess the equivalent would be cram.
Mushroom pie.
Well, see, one of the big problems that we've got is determining how you define pizza. Because I get the impression that Americans have a stricter definition of pizza than Italians would, for example. Because I heard some people say that, like arguing whether some areas' pizzas are real pizza or whatever like this, because, and factually, because I don't know what they would have, because, for example, do they have trenchers in Middle Earth? Which is what I would call a closest thing to a medieval pizza.
Well, maybe it's asked the question, like, assuming that you enjoy pizza, what would be its analog in Middle Earth? That also depends.
Lembas bread. I don't know why.
Yeah. See, so the question is, are you thinking of pizza as for duplicating what a pizza does, or how people feel about pizza,
right,
and having it as a general snack food, and it has nothing to do with what the contents or look of the pizza are like.
Right. In other words, what it does to the pleasure center of your brain.
Yeah. I mean, mushroom pies, I guess, for hobbits. For
hobbits, lembas for elves, for sure.
Lembas for elves.
Don't know about dwarves. What food do dwarves eat? All I know about is their drinking habit.
Well, yeah. Well, that might be it. Whatever question you ask, it's beer.
Yeah, beer. That's true.
That's probably not much of a stretch.
Someone in the forums wrote, "The Fellowship, a nice crusty old wizard with a lot of flavorful friends."
Yeah. Well, let's see. So pizza, you need for the dough, what? You need yeast, water, and flour, right? What do you need for beer? Grain. Water.
That's true.
Same thing.
That's close enough.
Right, and let's see, anything else we have in here? We have the Dwarf Scholar who sent this week's screenshot showing the company of dwarves from Durin's Folk and a Hobbit making their way through the Trolls during a recent role-playing event.
Several dwarves and a hobbit.
Several dwarves and a hobbit.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Oh, right. Oh, is it 13 dwarves plus a hobbit?
Wait a second. That sounds familiar.
Yes.
That may have been the role-playing event.
All right. I suppose that could be possible. You'll have to have some tricky things in getting to Erebor and the like, but there are ways to arrange that.
Details, Pineleaf, details.
Details. Anyone else have anything interesting that they found in this week's Beacon?
I thought it was funny how when they gave us our shout out, they said LOTRO Players News has an unusual baby in episode 214. Because what was the title last week? If Mordor and
Angmar and Rohan
had a baby. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting little way to describe it there. We had an unusual baby last week.
Yeah. I'm looking at the tooltip from the recipe on Anorian cooking, And yes, that says level 100 on the recipe. Now, what it actually does when you actually cook it, I don't know, since I'm nowhere near an oven because I'm in the middle of Lingris.
Fair enough.
What, they don't have ovens in Lingris?
Just set the place on fire. I hear it needs to be burned down and cleansed anyway. There should be plenty of lava around. Just get a bucket.
How do you feel about well done food, Pine Leaf?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'll have to go and ask Sheila if I could borrow a cup of sugar.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that'll end really well.
That. It was nice knowing you, Pine Leaf.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yes. All right. Let's head into this week's sales.
Okay, 20% off. Select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, and select cloaks. Also, this week's free sample is a combat run speed boost times 5 with coupon code RUNDOOR. That's the coupon code I'm not going to use because when I get those in my Hobbit present, I just destroy them anyway.
I like the idea of them. I just never remember to use them.
Oh, you know what I do is that you just, when you get them, use them immediately.
Yeah, but it's an in-combat run speed boost.
Oh, these are the combat. These are the combat speed runs.
These are the combat
sorry.
speed
I was thinking it was the out.
Yeah, I don't remember to use them.
Yeah,
I mean,
these are the ones that have to be used in combat, and they last for 10 seconds.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I suppose you could go poke something as soon as you get them and use it.
To what? Run away?
No.
I mean, that's my problem. Is I don't really do a lot of running away in combat.
Maybe you could use
Are
it
you
to
kidding?
charge
Terry's
them.
like, yeah, I was going to say.
Get in combat and then charge towards them extra quickly.
Right. I need that speed boost. That's what sprint is for.
Yeah.
Champion.
Obviously.
Yeah, she rarely uses sprint except for special occasions for absolutely needing to catch up with something. So that means when she needs it, it's never on cooldown.
Right.
I presume that's the case.
Yeah. Because why would you run away from stuff? The point is you're supposed to kill it.
Well, there is some truth in that.
Maybe it happens to be a high-level purple warg in the Chetwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't back away from that thing either.
I should have. I met the res circle faster, though.
Right. Then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with the question, what's left after Mordor?
Which was an ending video,
Yeah.
which drove me slightly nuts because of the title, but it's one of the few that I've actually watched.
Yeah, to me, because of the title, I haven't actually bothered to watch it.
Yeah, me neither. It was like, that's anti-clickbait for me.
Yeah.
Was the video better than the title suggested?
Yes, because he basically talks about all of the stuff that there is to do after Mordor.
Good.
Cool.
That's my answer. There's loads of stuff to do after Mordor.
Basically, it was a video response to a bunch of naysaying that, the game is done, and I guess comments that he's been getting on his videos and all that other stuff.
Oh,
And I was like, well, this is what's left after Mordor.
lots of stuff potentially after Mordor.
Plenty of stuff.
And Made of Lions has already been talking about some of the potential things.
Has he? That's cool.
Well, no, over the years he's been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about it for a
They're
while.
setting it up.
Yeah,
They're setting it up in some of the stories because, you run across some of the ex-slave stuff that talk about how they came to be in Mordor and that Sauron overran their land and stuff. And when I read that, I'm thinking, okay, that's probably the next place we're going after Mordor.
Right. I mean, we've got You got things with the Easterlings, with the Haradrim, with
Right.
Mumak rides.
Right.
oh yeah, we can't forget Mumak rides.
Please.
And
Not
I'm
that
sure-
Sans wants a pet Moomock or anything.
Life size.
Life
Mumak-
size.
Yes, Mumak mounts. Yes.
Well, they
That'd be
do have
great.
on sale on this in the store sales this week. They've got the put together Mumak. I think it's like the one in the tavern in Minas Tirith that the guys are shooting at.
That's a housing item you can buy for your house.
Yeah, I think it's a yard, an outside item. Yep. It's on sale this week. I was looking at. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they had that.
That is cool.
And I thought, gee, if I wasn't spending so much money on sturdy black steel keys, I'd buy one and send it to Sans.
Those sorry black.
They also
steel
have
keys.
the ingredient. We haven't done this. Have we done the store sales? They also have the ingredient crates on sale this week. That's worth getting.
The ones where you can use them every day and
To get
ingredient packs.
Yeah, ingredient packs. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah, because I said housing items and housing sets.
Oh, you did. Yeah. I should have. And I was not thinking of those things.
Before
But anyway,
we got
yeah.
distracted by the coupon of Rendor.
Now I need to see. I feel like that's a command to a door. Run, door. But the doors aren't likely to actually do anything.
I just
Is
wonder
that
how long are they going to use door coupon codes?
As long as they can milk it.
Yeah, really. A model Mumak mimicking the mascot of the Mumak and Keep. Yeah, it's the one like the one in the tavern. It would look lovely in your yard.
Well, Sans, especially since you have a lot of Hobbit characters, if you have housing, in Hobbit holes or whatever, you could just terrorize all of your little Hobbit neighbors.
Oh gosh, yeah. Gosh, you'd probably have the homeowners association, the Hobbit owners association would be in touch with you.
Oh, how big is it?
I don't know. I didn't say, but I gather it's not as big as the one in the tavern. It's a large yard hook. It said.
Okay, so that's the
That's pretty good size, probably.
Large is the.
Isn't that the largest you can get at a personal house?
Yeah, in the standard house.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you have a larger one in the
premium house.
Or in the premiums, yes.
In the Balthalis houses, you've got.
No, I didn't mean no. I meant.
But no, you meant this. Yeah, I get it. The large of the original housing.
Yeah.
Right.
The Stone of Eric, I think, fits in a large slot, right?
It does. Yeah, I think that's why they did that, was so people with standard houses could put them in. Yeah.
Yeah, though putting one in a standard, putting it into my Hobbit hole location.
I started wondering why I hadn't carved my Hobbit hole into that.
Because
it looked like it was bigger.
Yeah, it does look like it's bigger than the house. The trouble is how much chiseling it will take in order to do it.
That's a good point. Probably not worth the effort.
Yeah. There's a reason why they don't build houses out of solid stone.
Good point, Pineleaf.
All right, then. Anything else about what we can do after Mordor? Then let's ask Then we had an article on various things of Mordor. First off, about the allegiance system. And about the deed mount, whatever deed they're talking about.
The deed mount looks cool.
Okay,
What's the deed? What deed is it for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really, all of more. Discover all of more.
Oh,
and do every quest. And find every cache. And then you get the deed.
That's possible, because there have been...
Well, that was like the elf, or the elf
Yeah,
one is you gotta
apparently
get
it's
rep.
the meta deed mount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, yeah, and usually meta mounts in a lot of areas I never get because, well, it's a meta deed and finish, and usually there is the third one I just never get done. I see because I usually all the quests I do, maybe the discoveries, but I usually don't have time to worry about killing every single monster in the area. And then when they start adding roving threats and stuff like that, forget it. And Fusham Baal, a short guide to your quest deed. And I am not familiar with Fusham Baal. I presume it's an area in Mordor, but outside of that...
It's an area in Talath Irwi.
Yeah,
which I haven't reached yet either.
I just finished it today.
Buddha's inserting his commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mooted myself.
Right. And then finally, we have The Family Line Part 147 was like a dream. I hope he's not saying that the entire story has been like a dream.
No. No, that's not where it ended.
We're at number 147. Oh yeah, this is all a dream. He hasn't started yet.
That would be kind of funny, though.
I don't know. What does it say? Yes, let's see. Yeah, I just dreamt the last 2 seasons of Dallas. No, sorry.
Well, hey, we did talk one week about how we wanted this to be a series, like, picked up by Netflix or something. You could just call it, Theomin's Nap, and then have the whole thing and have him wake up at the end, But no, that's not. The dream was just referring to something else. So.
Okay. That's good to hear. Then let's head into our new player question.
The new player question for this week is, do you have any advice for advancing virtues more quickly?
Deed accelerator.
Find a friend, because grinding with friends
That's right.
means that it sucks less.
Okay.
Or a good podcast, audiobook,
Yeah. Or a
audio
good TV show.
homework, TV show.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
for lots of things.
I will presume that you are going to skip the expensive answer to that question.
What is the
Well,
expensive
there is
answer?
an expensive answer, yes.
Yeah, it's a LOTRO store, I mean.
Gotcha.
You can buy your virtues. I think
That doesn't sound very virtuous, but...
but it's possible. You might want to decide which virtues you want to pay attention to and focus on those deeds.
Mm-hmm.
At least until you get them where you want them, and then you can focus on the other ones. If you're hoping for a specific set of virtues to be advanced, because you can't equip them all at once.
Right.
You can save yourself a little bit of frustration, probably, if you focus on the deeds that give you the virtues you want.
Okay.
And I've used Wikipedia for that. For figuring out which deeds to focus on in each area.
There's a plugin that will do it, too.
Oh, yeah?
I don't remember what it's called, because I don't actually use it, but there is one.
Yeah, I think I just went to the LOTRO wiki.
Is it worth getting your virtues up all the way? Or is it just to a certain point? Or does it depend on the character? How does that work?
I've never actually done it, but it is worth it to get it up to level 20. They can actually go, several of them can go higher than that, most of them can go higher than that. It only really counts to the first 20 levels.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
And so
In
if there's
fact-
one that looks horrible, but it's a virtue you want, Do a different deed.
Okay.
Yeah, and considering what the thing about when Mordor opened up, at least 4 of the virtues I have were already at 20 because the virtue level was already above it at the time Mordor. No, I'm talking about my main because all my other characters are like 7. So therefore, I have one character with great virtues and the rest of them are yuck. Yeah, because I have right now 20. Yeah, because I got a few of my virtues right now are like innocence right now. Innocence right now could go as high as 27. I'm at rank 20 because that's the cap, but they could raise it to 27 and I'll still be capped on innocence. But that's very definitely the exception and not the rule when it comes to virtues of my characters.
Okay.
But hobbits have a habit of doing a lot of innocence bound things because the Shire is very much on innocence and the like.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some of them that you do quite a bit of just because of what race you are or what kind of
Patience.
deeds you do. If you do a lot of exploration, for example.
Gives you a lot of patience.
Yeah. But I've never really
Pies, get
figured
patience.
out how
Damn.
much they help. But
Running
suspect the
solo,
fact-
I notice more a lack of virtues if I don't have them.
right. And let's just say that I have tried several characters going through Mordor and all right, and my main seems to be getting by without too much trouble. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of tricky spots here and there, but I'm getting through without too much trouble. All my other characters, I'm feeling like, oh boy, this is really close, and I'm just survived by a sliver or something like that. So it could be the virtues that's one of the differences on the matter.
Okay.
Then anything else on virtues before we head on? Then let's look into our week in LOTRO. And Maven, what were you up to?
Oh my goodness! I wrote an essay.
You wrote an essay.
I did. I did.
Is
I
this
think.
for one of your
I think you
classes?
guys should be. No, this is what I did in my week in LOTRO. I wrote an essay, and just look at the notes I wrote. You know, normally we do like a phrase, and I wrote like sentences. Well, I think this is probably going to happen anytime there's like a big expansion because I just love going in and just like, you know, taking Glordrell in and just getting to know all the areas. So, Overseer Glordrell completed her second lore book, got to level 18 in Allegiance, and reached honored rep level. She also completed the Fasham Resolution.
Does this have anything to do with Fasham Fall by any chance?
Yep, that's it. That's the instance at the end of the resolution. So you have to go in and get a bunch of rep for 2 factions. You have to actually get neutral in both factions before the instance opens up for you. So it's a little bit of a, you know, balancing act, and then the instance opens up. But so I got my neutral thing all set up, got into the instance, and the instance glitched. And I couldn't,
no.
you know, so I left and came back in, and it just wasn't. And I was like, so finally I'm like, well, I guess I just have to cancel. Not realizing that when I canceled, I was canceling the entire quest chain.
Oh no!
That meant I had to go back and do all of the rep stuff. I mean, I still had rep. You know, I still had rep in the rep bars, but I had to go back and like, you know, jigger with it again to get it opened up again. I was like, oh my God. So anyway,
it's like canceling the entire...
Well, because what it did was it's canceled out any credit I got for having gotten neutral. Because what happens is when you get to neutral in one of the factions, you can then once you've got that in your quest log, you can lose rep to some degree, and you don't lose that getting credit for the neutral. So what happened was when I canceled the quest chain, I lost credit for getting neutral in either of the things. So I had to go from where I was at and go back up again. But it didn't take terribly long, and then I went in and got that done. So that took a little while, but I got that taken care of. Yay! And the nice thing about that is it gives allegiance points as one of the rewards for finishing that. So that was kind of cool. I also got to dress up as an orc and wander around among the arena audience in Thorjaf, which is a big arena full of orcs. Only got caught 3 or 4 times by the Mordor guards and killed on sight, basically. Wasn't bad. I then fought the champions in the arena, and now I'm now known as Master Mangler is my title now for having fought the champions. That's an awesome title. Not an awesome title. And then I started a Nair band, but boy, that's another one. It's like, talk about needing a buddy. Jeez Louise, it's like you got to go in and do all this stuff, and there's mobs all over the place. It just kind of gets a little, and the problem is, like, you got to go find stuff like supply crates, but you can't do the delete key because there's all those, crafting boxes and stuff that get in the way. So you can't find the silly things because those crafting boxes are in the way, and you don't necessarily want to go for the crafting boxes because there's 6 mobs standing next to the crafting box. So it was like, oh my god! Finally, I was like, okay, I'll just come back later. And then I also started the Argonite swamp area, which are other interesting areas. So not much to tell for the week. Horrendous. How about you?
Well, pretty much didn't. I was not able to do much this week because of real life, but I accidentally reset all of my virtues. What? In a way, I went in and I was looking at my virtues to kind of see what I had, and I ended up at removing all of the ones that I had by accident, like all the ones that I had selected, and I couldn't remember which ones I had, so I just pulled the ones that I had advanced the furthest up just to kind of see what would happen. So far, I'm still alive, so I guess that's a thing. I didn't break anything. And I mostly just worked on leveling my champion. I still manage to get lost in Trouble in Tuckborough, even though it's a closed environment, so that kind of says something. I should probably work on that. Sanswinda, what did you do this week?
Well, I I had a little bit of an incident. I helped my sister get her first ally. And I'm telling this story with full permission. I had forgotten that could be kind of intense. And we've been running a guardian and a captain together. And not having trouble. Doing mostly important and more important quests, but not very, very important quests. And, in other words, doing mostly orange and yellow quests and a few white quests, but not red quests, because I was trying to be nice. And, at level 45, I was really excited. I was like, oh look, we can go get allies now, this is gonna be great! And so I took her, and she was like, isn't this like 8 levels over us? And I was like, no count. It's only 4 or 5 levels over us. We're fine. No problems.
Oh, what level was she?
45.
All right.
And we got through the whole intro part really nicely, right up to the instance where you get your ally. Or after which you get your ally. And I told her, not really thinking about it, that it's gonna be fine. Like, if you're worried about surviving, let the dwarves tank for you. You can totally do this. So, I get in there, and it's going fine, and at the very end, I'm, like, spamming heals on the dwarf to keep him alive with the last, wolf. So I look over at her screen, and I'm like, call the wolf off him, he's gonna die if you don't, because you can't heal him. She's like, what? And the dwarf died. And the thing pops up on the screen. I think it was Bosi, has died. Failed the instance. Shut her out of it. She went right back in. High intensity. She's like, you didn't tell me this would happen! And she tried again, and everything went perfectly smoothly the second run through for her. But we got to the end of it, and she's going, it's gonna get me. It's gonna get me. I can't move. I can't do anything. I stole my camera. It won't work. And I was feeling really guilty at this point. I was like, it's fine. Like, push your mount up button. As soon as you've got control back, just take off. She's like, it won't let me. Yeah, if you push mount up right as it starts, it'll actually mount you partway through that.
I have never mounted in that instance.
Well, you can. So she gets control back. She starts going, and the first thing that it does is it knocks her off her horse. And so she's like standing there trying to remount. I was like, no, keep running. You can't remount in combat. I'm sure I've told you this before. Keep running.
No.
Keep running. I got her all the way out, and she spent quite a while ribbing me and mocking me and threatening me in fun. And when my nephew, who is still pretty young, asked what's going on, this gleam of triumph in her eyes, she tells how she survived this instance that I failed to prepare her properly for. And so it had a happy ending. But yeah, she discovered the emotes for slapping and mocking and scolding and being rude and a few other choice emotes.
We should buy her a fish slap emote.
Oh yeah, we've got to get her one of those.
Unfortunately, it's Spring Festival.
Well, she'll get one next year. That'll be enough time for her to learn how to use it properly, though. But no, she was doing a really great job, and she's got her LI, and she's got it all leveled up to 10 and reforged, and I've warned her, we're level 46 now, and I've warned her that when she goes back in, the thing's gonna come back out, and she's gonna actually have to fight it this time, at least the tentacles. And she's like, "That I know, you've told me, I know." So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then my main hunter, Sanswanda and Landerval, got her 3 missing ports. Her port to Arnok, the War Steed, or her port to Arnok, her port to the War Steed, or Warstead, and just today, her port to Udun Foothold. So, she can port, nice. I think, to all the places so far that I've been that I need to be able to port to. And yeah, I'm really excited to test that out. And she also accidentally, while hunting for task items, happened to be near a campsite fire that I had no idea how she got there, but her campsite fire is now bound in Mordor too. Because I figured since I was already there and didn't know how I got there, binding to the campsite would probably be a good idea. But then I came back by the road, and if I had known how many spooky things I was passing on my way to that campfire, there's no way I would be going to that campfire. So that was kind of funny. But she's got her 3 ports, and she has 2 ways to port people around in Mordor now. And then I used an Arya of the Valor, my Arya of the Valor, on my new High Elf Runekeeper, and was feeling pretty confident, got things set up, and was bashing around some light blue enemies in Gondor, finishing up the epic, and ran around with Pineleaf's Warden for a while, and was feeling quite, at least, well-powered. And then I went out to get some task items on her, solo, and promptly got squished. So, yeah, I took her back to work on some things. Got her, I don't remember if I got her a chisel or a rifler, but I got her something. Tried to work on some other things. And, then last night, ran the toughest featured instance that I can remember. I happened to be on her, saw a couple Ken mates, one of whom's a friend. They're like, "Hey, come along with us for the featured instance run." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like, she needs some practice, and she could use the loot." So we did. And I think... Actually, I don't know how many times we wiped. I think we might have only wiped once or twice. But we definitely had multiple deaths. No, we probably wiped 3 times. Or more. And spent forever fighting the bosses. And at the very end, I was finally checking the level that we had started this at, because I just accepted when we went. and it was 106. So, yeah, she's got quite a bit of work to do. I was properly warned and did not listen, but I think I figured out the skills. So now if I can figure out the allies, and we'll see. Maybe I should work on her virtues. Though they're
I
level
told you
12.
so.
Terry can say I told you so as often as she wants. She warned me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but that was interesting. And we finally conquered the featured instance, and we did not run a second one because that one took a long time. I feel like it was like 2 hours or more, but it might really have only been an hour. It was long. So, that was my week. Terry, how was your week?
Well, among other things, I've been having fun with High Elves. Because, obviously, Well-Dressed Killing Machine was the High Elf that happened last week. He made it to level 15 this week, so he was able to actually get the surname of Killing Machine. So he's proudly running around as Well-Dressed Killing Machine. And he started the Bolshoi Theater Kinship, which I'm also very proud of. And it is open to all High Elves. Champions preferred. But, it's not mandatory to be a champion. But must be High Elf. High Elves only.
Did they ask you that when you started? Was that one of the... Because I know, for High Elves, you had to say it was mixed or dwarves or hobbits. Did they ask High Elf? I
did buy the Elf Kinship. They don't have a special one for High Elves, but I did get the Elf one. And then, because when I was outfitting him, I discovered that I had this cloak in my wardrobe, which is called the Trapper's Faded Cloak, which is a Dunland cosmetic. It's a Dunland gear piece, but I have it cosmetically equipped. Basically, it's the Dunland cloak that looks like a bear. And I think I put it in the wardrobe because I was going to outfit a furball with it, and that ended up not happening, but it's still in my wardrobe. And I thought about using it on Well-Dressed, but decided against it ultimately. However, it was too good not to use on somebody, so I rolled a High Elf Mini, and I named her Down with Bears. And at level 15, her surname will be And Stupid Humans, so she'll be running around down with bears and stupid humans. And she's not only wearing the cloak that has the bear on it, she's got the bear for shoulders, and then I also have Visage of the Bear, which is the headpiece that looks like it's a bear's head, in my wardrobe, so that's her headpiece. So yeah, she's down with bears. They're awesome accessories. And then High Elf number 3 happened last night during the LOTRO Academy field trip, because we were basically going through some of our favorite things to mock the NPCs for saying. Not just elf NPCs, although that was pretty high on the list because a lot of people were running around in Kellendam. But, we mentioned dwarves and men, and so I rolled a High Elf Hunter on Arkenstone, and her name is Grey as the Shadow, and today she made it to level 15, and her surname is Upon My Heart. So she's running around Middle Earth as Grey as the Shadow Upon My Heart, easily lost. And I'm having entirely too much fun doing that, because then you have, as you're running around questing, you see the name popping up in the quest text, and then you see it in the floating chat as characters are talking to you, so you're going through the starter entrance. This way, Down with Bears, and I'm just cracking up. Someday I will make one that I can take the High Elf intro seriously with, but that hasn't happened yet.
This is not the day.
This is not the day. Today is not the day. I have yet to actually be in the frame of mind to properly appreciate the instance, which I feel a little bad for, because I definitely know that I need to appreciate the instance. It's just due to some other things I've not been able to really appreciate it properly. So at some point that's going to happen. I'll roll a serious High Elf and then actually pay attention to it and squeal over how awesome it is. And then Langevall Terry has made it up to level 106. Such a slacker. Woo! Slacker. Because she's my highest level character. She's got a long way to go with Mordor quests. I feel like we've barely made a dent.
I know. I don't think we've even
Udun
scratched
questing,
the surface. I know.
And there's so much to do. And I just haven't had time. or really the inclination for it, because I haven't really wanted to do much questing on her own with her. So instead, when I was feeling up for some solo play, I continued with my warden Malethriel, that's an elf with a serious elf name. She's in Moria. She's just up to halfway through the Fanged Pit quest. She did the first round of Fanged Pit, and I know there's a couple more left for her to do. She's level 50-something. 57, 58, something like that. So she's a little OP for where she is, but I'm kind of okay with that, because it's been a while since I've like really seriously delved into Moria, aside from I've got a burglar there who's running with the no quest guide, and so she's got all of her stuff turned on and is able to go through it pretty easy. So it's kind of a refresher course for when my burglar gets there. And that was my week. Finally, how about you?
All right, I'll begin with my warden on Crick Hollow. And during the week, I have finally found the perfect spear for my character.
Yeah?
The most wonderful spear ever created in all of Middle-earth. And I couldn't reach it.
Oh.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I just couldn't reach it. Yeah, it sounds like Maven knows which spear I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yep. I couldn't reach it, so therefore I don't have that spear. I saw it. The gleaming, wonderful spear, but
Perfect for a warden, absolutely.
Right, but I couldn't reach it, so I don't have it. And the other thing that I was wondering on, when I was on the plane of Gorgoroth, I was thinking, alright, I need to find some of these cisterns that were mentioned in the Lord of the Rings, in the Return of the King. So I'm looking all over the place, looking for these cisterns, and of course, I eventually give up, and I start doing this quest, and I speak to someone right next to these cisterns, and I have to imagine that all these years since I've read The Lord of the Rings, I've had this picture of what the cisterns looked like, and I now realize just how wrong I was in thinking of what they looked like. Because I was just imagining something a lot smaller than they use in LOTRO, and I'm thinking, well, of course, this is going to be a water supply that's going to be used in Mordor. Of course you gotta have something bigger. So, yes, either that or this is one of those cases like the Stone of Eric where they decided to go bigger than, but, yeah, I was just imagining them being a lot smaller, but, and so at first I say, what, did they forget the cisterns? No, they didn't forget the cisterns, they were just, they're practically buildings!
Hey, go big or go home, right?
Yeah, go big or go home. So therefore, that's what I did on that front. Now, in my Warden series, the one that I am doing on Laurelin, remember how earlier we were talking about virtues? And how I have one warden that has these really wonderful virtues and the rest not so great? Mm-hmm. Well, this is, the one on Laurelin, the virtues aren't so great. This is one of those with, about 7 or 8 in these things, so not so great. So therefore, I'm finding Mordor so far. Well, I'm doing a video series on this, so therefore, if you watch the latest episode I posted, you'll see that I'm having a tough time at level 106, just getting, just in a regular fight against a regular mob, because and 2 mob, boy, this is getting really tough.
See, I'm having all kinds of fun in Mordor.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a champion and a warden right there.
Yeah. But, as I said, this is that's the difference between a warden with full virtues and one with not so full virtues. Because my main warden, I'm getting through these mobs, nothing to this Mordor stuff. Oh yeah, go through there with poor virtues and maybe not. Now, of course, there are other things not exactly fully developed on that one either, because that was done mainly on a video series, and sometimes you skip a few things. Especially the type of series I was doing, it was mainly an RP series, so it wasn't exactly completionist on the quest and all that stuff. So yeah, I was left a little bit on the weakish side there. Now, I'm also now going to come back to a question we had earlier in this episode. And I have to say that apparently I must have been wrong on the matter concerning the food, that they didn't have the ability to change the new crafting the Anorian food and giving it a different level. Sorry, I was completely wrong on that score, because that's right, I hover over the one that I crafted before Mordor, and it's level 201. The one after Mordor, level 100.
No! Sorry.
Yeah. They nerfed food with a big fist.
And just when we need it most.
Yes!
Are they doing that on purpose? Like, just because they know that Mordor is supposed to be a little bit harder? Or is that what they're trying to do? Or
Are they trying to make us eat Daleman's crams again instead of throwing them away?
Why would they be nerfing food?
I don't know, but that is exactly what they did there.
Lame.
Because it can't be a tooltip error, because it's the same. Because
It's the same food.
it's the same food.
Or at least it's supposed to be the same food.
They had to go out of their way to make it act differently.
I mean, if they're trying to make the atmosphere of Mordor harder, if they're trying to make it like, hey, it's the end of the game, you have to work a little bit, or not the end of the game, but, thank you. You have to work harder, and, we have to make it more meaningful, then I can understand why, but if that's not what they're going for, why on earth would they nerf food?
Did they nerf anything else, I wonder now? I hope not.
I don't know, but yeah, they nerfed food. So that, as far as I could tell, food is... Well, it lasts longer than Daleman's crams, but other than that...
Not really much difference.
Right.
So no need to bother with crafting cooking stuff, maybe? I don't know. That's just sad. This poor hobbit.
Oh, my poor hobbit's going to be so hungry. But I suppose that if they were intentionally nerfing making the new food not be as strong as the old food, they had to nerf the old food in order to
do that, because otherwise everybody would just eat the old food.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay, why don't I just eat the old food?
So then why was the old food so strong in the first place? I don't know.
Because it was done to the level. It was level 200 because all equipment, everything else that was crafted was level 200.
So I guess now we should go back and check all the recipes and see if now everything we try to craft is going to just be level 100.
Well, I don't think that's the case. Last time I said that, I was proven wrong very quickly, right?
I mean, now that I want to check my bow chance and my oils.
Well, oils, the only difference they had was how long they lasted.
Time,
anyway.
That's true.
So,
the nerfing time would be kind of weird.
Yeah, and bow chance is... I don't know about bow chance.
Because those were pretty helpful. Hopefully they still are.
Yeah, because...
So the bow chance
But because I've never used bow chants really. Of course, I'm not a hunter, but even when I'm a hunter, I didn't tend to use them because I always forget about them. Things like bow chants and stuff like that, I always forget about.
Oh, I haven't got to the point where I start using bow chants. There's
Yeah.
other of my classes I forget to use stuff.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting that there is an equivalent on Wardens, and I keep even forgetting
What is it?
they are.
What is the equivalent? Oh, I was going to ask you what the equivalent on Warden was, but
Yeah, there is, because I think every class has a consumable of some sort.
yeah.
It's just that,
I know that RKs have parchments, and I never.
right, they have parchments, they have all these little things in there, and I can never remember what they are.
Warden's consumable is shield spikes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't think it was no, I was thinking something other than the shield spikes. I thought there was something other than shield spikes in addition.
Oh, I don't know about that. No,
Oil.
don't they get like carvings that make their?
The carvings are a permanent item. They're not a consumable.
Oh, well then
Yeah, see. Okay, I could also be remembering wrong. That's always a possibility. So you can see that, that's such how much we care about the consumables. We can't even remember if they exist.
champions have fervor potions that I don't use.
Yeah, and captains have captain tonics, which I never use.
Penleaf, what about warden hymns?
Oh,
Like
the
battle-
hymns! That's it. The
That's
important
it.
hymns. That's
Yeah, that's right. Oh, those are like bow chants, aren't they? Don't they have different? They have different ones that have different stats.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Horrendous.
You're welcome.
But-
Thank you, Google.
Right. But yes, I think I might have had one in my inventory once or twice, but I've never actually remembered to use one. So, and that would be my weekend, LOTRO. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter as the Players Alliance at Players Ally, LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Ariendis at Ariendis, Maven at Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, and Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin. Players Alliance has 3 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News on the first and third Fridays at 11:59 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have XP Quest, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News. You choose for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf News reminding you to skirmish responsibly.